Danny, I'm coming. I'm right behind you. Here's Johnny. Hello, everyone. Graz here to do our Shining video. Hopefully the axe doesn't kill me when I sit down. Okay. There we go. So, this is episode 2 of our vacation with the Torrances. We started in the last video with the miniseries from 1997, and now we're going back 17 years from that to 1980 to visit an offshoot of the Overlook as chosen by Stanley Kubrick. This is the movie. That's what I tried to do. You'll have to let me know how I did. Now, as anybody that follows knows, I give my negatives and then my positives and then some other things about the movie. So I'll start with the negatives because I like to finish on positive notes. So let's just get into that. My negatives. And it's hard not to judge this against the book. Excuse me, because I mean it's a terrible adaptation. It really is. It is one of the finest horror movies of all time. But that's what it is. If you're into it for a horror movie, then you're gonna get what you came for. If you're into it for, oh, I liked the book, this is a movie, don't do that. It's loosely based on that. So let's get into my negatives. So just keep that in mind as I go. Ullman is way too nice. He's very happy to see Jack, and he's like, it even says that he, recommended that they hire him immediately and stuff. So it just doesn't work with that, because if he's not down on Jack at the beginning, then there's no antagonism to start with. And it's just, it doesn't really work. Also, Jack was not fazed one iota during the story of the former caretaker Grady killing all of his family, chopping them up with an axe, and then shooting himself. He just sits there and listens to it like he's watching a game show, or just like listening to a lecture on particle physics or something. He's not fazed, and a normal person who's not already on their way to being insane would be fazed. This is stupid. Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance. Rad rum. Tony talking through the finger. Give me a break. What is that? And the simple explanation that, oh, it's the little boy that lives in my mouth and he hides in my stomach, but he talks through my finger. What kind of acid trip are you supposed to be on to understand this? And he talks to Wendy? Ridiculous. I mean, this kid would be in some sort of a home. Seriously. And it's there. It's very quick, but if you pay attention, Ullman says that the stupid Overlook in this movie is built on an ancient Indian burial ground. Really? I mean, really? I don't know what to say to that. I honestly don't. So I'm just going to move on. Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall have virtually no chemistry with each other. I mean, it is literally like watching wooden cutouts try to have conversations and yell and scream at each other and excuse me, try to hurt each other. It's pretty bad. They're not suited for each other. And it has none. The thing has none of the history of the Overlook. Like, where are all these ghosts coming from? And if it's on an ancient Indian burial ground, then how come none of them are Indians? I mean, think about it. If you build a thing on an ancient Indian burial ground, and you're full up with ghosts and you're haunted, some of them should probably be Native American, wouldn't you think? And then the ending, the very ending, that polarizing ending, after he's frozen in the ice, in the maze, and then it slowly zooms in on Jack standing, or he's in the party from 1921. What is that? What is that? I mean, okay, he's always been the caretaker, but it doesn't make any sense. Why is he... If somebody can explain the ending to me, I have a very open mind for that. Please do. Okay, that's the negatives, and I know that I got heated about it, but I'm passionate about it. So now on to the positives, because there are some. Now I know in the book, in the miniseries, there is no maze. But I think the addition of the maze is really cool. The maze is like its own character. It sits in the way of some things, and it helps Danny escape. And what's really cool about the maze is the Stanley Hotel, which is what was the real life Overlook, had such a call for it and liked the idea of it so much that they built the maze. So it's there now. You can go and rent a room at the Overlook and walk the maze. That's pretty wicked, in my opinion. I think my favorite part of the movie is that rolling shot behind Danny when he's riding his big wheel / tricycle through the halls, and he's turning all the corners, and sorry, something in my eye. And it's neat how you're basically getting it from his point of view, and his he turns the corner and he sees what he sees, and you see it when he does, and it's really cool. Danny Lloyd plays Danny Torrance, and he's amazing. It's really hard not to compare the two kids that played Danny from this to the miniseries, because he's so good. Danny Lloyd is like an accomplished adult actor in a kid's body. Even though he didn't know that it was a horror movie, Kubrick really tried to protect him. He was phenomenal. I mean, I wrote down a comparison that might put it into easier terms. It's like, okay, Danny Lloyd is better at being Danny than Cortland Mead is like Frank Sinatra being that much better of a singer than Penny on the Big Bang Theory TV show. There's no contest. Next up is Scatman Crothers is a fantastic Dick Halloran. He's there's no cockiness about him. And I think that his character got a raw deal based on the source material, and it's kind of too bad that he didn't get the miniseries events, because I think he could have really went somewhere with that. He was too old for that, though. He's like in his 70s here, so The maze chase at the end, where I kind of tried to recreate a little bit of that coming in the door. Where Jack's chasing Danny and stuff. That is claustrophobic and beautiful and amazing, and it's terrifying. There's dark corners. There's heavy snow, and then how Danny uses an old Native American Indian trick of going back on his footsteps so as not to be followed, and it tricks Jack. Just brilliant. Beautiful. I love it. So that's my positives and my negatives. My best quote for the movie is actually tied between two. At one point, Jack calls Wendy a sperm bank, which wow. We all kind of laughed about that. It was quite the insult. And the better quote, but I still think it's tied, is Grady, who is now like a waiter, I guess, is telling Jack, "You've always been the caretaker, Mr. Torrance, and I should know. I've always been here." It's just his delivery and his accent and the severity of how he looks. It's really well done. Excuse me. And I know it plays into the weird ending, but at least that line of conversation fits with the miniseries and the book somewhat. I apologize. I have a little bit of indigestion today, but I wanted to get the video out, so sorry about that. I think the best scene in the movie, even cooler than the maze chase and Danny riding this thing through the halls, is the bathroom scene between Grady and Jack. Their conversation. It's intense. There's a little bit of humor, some unbelievability and believability. I like the duality thing. The muted music in the background just gives a almost finality to Jack's slippage into, okay, now I'm not just crazy, I'm going to kill my family. It's really good. And then, like I was saying earlier with Grady, my wife and daughters didn't like the Overlook, and I had to correct them. It's just so well done. I mean, these are some of the reasons why this movie is so high on horror movie lists, because it deserves that. So overall, this is to kind of use the same kind of talk that I used on the miniseries. This is a superior viewing experience. It happens to you. You never really feel that you're just watching something. It's really good. It's only failing, and I really do mean it's only failing, is that it's awful as an adaptation of the book. And that's not really a failing, because if you're just loosely basing it on source material and you're making your own movie, then this is amazing for what that is. But like I said, if you're not interested in the book and you just want a wonderful viewing experience that's going to scare the crap out of you in a lot of different spots, here you go. Top 5 horror movie of all time. And beware when the young lady turns into the young lady in the bathtub, when she turns into the old cackling crone chasing Danny and Jack. Wow. It's like seeing a brought to life Broomhilda from the old Bugs Bunny cartoons. All she needed to do was jump up and click her heels and hairpins going everywhere. It's well done. So that's my in-depth review of The Shining movie. Again, let me know about the ending if you understand it better than I do, because I'm sure somebody does. And watch the first episode if you haven't, please, so you can compare. Come back tomorrow, because it will be tomorrow, not 3 days this time. I apologize for that. I was kind of working on the costume and everything. Sorry. But come back tomorrow and I will be talking about the novel The Shining. Ugh. So that's that. Wanted to say we appreciate everybody that watches, views. I guess that's the same thing. Comments, interacts. We love it all. Big props to my daughter for helping with the cosplays. She deftly created 2 different versions of Jack Torrance on me. I'm actually really excited to see what she comes up with for when I do Dr. Sleep in a few days, because that's part of our vacation with the Torrances. So that'll do. Yeah, let me know about the ending, and I will see you tomorrow with the book.